Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first talk in our series on Quranic studies in Indonesia. And I'm really glad to welcome Sahiron Syamsuddin today with us. Sahiron is, of course, well known to most of you. He's a senior lecturer of Islamic studies at WIN Sunan Kalijaga in Yogyakarta. And he did his MA in Canada at McGill University and his PhD in Germany with Rotraud Wieland. In both theses, he worked on contemporary or modern exegetes on Bint al-Shati and on Muhammad Shahrur. And after that, he started engaging in his own research on Quranic hermeneutics and developing his own approach. And it is this area of specialization and interest that he is going to talk to us about today. And I'm really, really looking forward to this. Welcome, Sahiron, and please go ahead.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening, everybody. Here in Indonesia, it's at the evening. In Germany, it's in what time, Johanna? Right now?
Afternoon, 3 p.m.
Afternoon, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, I would like to thank Professor Johanna Pink and Lien Iffah, and also, of course, all those who are engaged in the International Qur'anic Studies, or IQSA. And thank you very much for this opportunity, Professor Johanna Pink. Yes, right now I would like to present my my own approach to the Quran, or the interpretation of the Quran. Actually, this is not a new one. Yeah, what I call, let me check, let me share my, okay. Yes, moment. Yeah, what I mean by my own approach is Ma'na Kummaga approach to the Quran.
You should probably start the presentation in PowerPoint, then we will
just
see the slides.
Sorry, let me, okay.
I think there's a symbol in the top, or maybe there's also some F5 or F6 or something that you can press.
My PowerPoint already can you see my my PowerPoint, Johanna? No.
Yes.
Not yet. Yes. Already.
Yes, we can see it. It just looks nicer if you start the slideshow. But if it doesn't work, doesn't matter. We can see it.
Okay. Good. So yeah, today I would like to talk about Ma'na Kummagza approach to the Quran. Ma'na is Arabic word, and also magza. Yeah, this is the two Arabic words, and kum is not Arabic here. In order to inform you or to show you that this kind of approach is a combination between what we have in Islamic literature, yeah, in relation to Quranic interpretation on the one hand, and on the other hand, I try to to include modern or Western hermeneutics in this case. Yeah. So yes, after after reading many works on Quranic interpretation, like proposed by Fazlur Rahman, Nasr Hamid Abu Zaid, Abid Al-Jabiri, Abdullah Sa'id, and also many other Muslim scholars in terms of the interpretation of the Quran, and I find that they are actually the methodical strategies that are mentioned by these scholars are very good, they are very excellent, and so on and so forth. But sometimes it's very complicated. Yeah. I mean, they are. I see that sometimes some methods are very difficult to implement, and so on and so forth. And I try to you know, to take some some good methodological strategies, and that can be easily implemented to you know, to the Quran. This is the one thing, and the other thing that that we have to, we as Muslims, yeah, as Muslims and theologians, you know, are interested in, you know, reinterpreting the Quran for a contemporary situation, for contemporary needs, of course, yeah. So on the one hand, so in this case, I would like to try to be objective. On the one hand, I mean, you know, try to you know, to grasp what the Quran means on the one hand, and on the other hand, of course, we, you know, we use also our subjectivity in order to interpret the verses. Yeah. So, and here, what I mean by this approach is an approach in which someone tries to grasp first original historical meaning, or in Arabic, al-ma'na al-tarikhi, al-ma'na al-asli al-tarikhi of the text of the Quran, that was, you know, that was understood, or probably understood by its first audience, by the Prophet Muhammad, and also his companions first. And the second one, we try to, you know, to understand its historical intention, or in Arabic, al-maghza al-tarikhi, or probably in English, authorial intention. So in this case, in relation to grasping or understanding the original meaning of the text and its historical significance, I follow the, you know, of course, the ulama, the Muslim scholars who, you know, who concerns with this, for example, Ash-Shatibi, yeah, in this case. And on the other hand, we you know, pay attention to the theories, hermeneutical theories proposed by Schleiermacher or by Hirsch, and so on and so forth. Yeah, so this and the third one, in you know, by this approach, we would like also to, you know, to develop or to grasp its dynamic significance, yeah, the dynamic significance of the verses for the contemporary situation, or I call in Arabic al-maghza al-mutaharrik al-mu'asir. So this is the definition of this approach. And of course, good, yes. And this approach, for this approach, we have a paradigm, yeah. First of all, as Muslims, we believe that the Quran is, you know, divine revelation, and it functions as mercy or rahmat, rahmah for human beings and universe. So when somebody tries, you know,
I'm sorry, you were muted, Sahiron. Could you? I'm struggling a bit with this at the moment.
So,
Yeah.
yes.
Now it's good.
Can you hear me?
Sorry, I'm sorry
Yes.
for this.
Yeah. Okay, good. So, yeah, we have a paradigm for this approach. Yeah. First of all, as a Muslim, I believe that the Quran was revealed by Allah Subhanahu wa Taala to the Prophet Muhammad. Yes. Okay, and the most important thing is that we have to believe that the Quran was revealed for human beings as a mercy. So mercy for human beings and universe. So when somebody tries to understand the Quran, then he or she should, have intention, have a purpose for, creating masalih nas, creating a goodness of human beings and universe. This is the one. The second one, we believe that the Quran is universal, yeah, for all human beings. It's all human beings, and but its universality needs interpretation. Of course, we should not stuck on the literal meaning of the text of the Quran, but we have to interpret. Yeah, we have to reactualize the verses, and also and after that, as Muslims implement for our our life. So this is the third one, and we in order to implement this approach, we we you know we we do not use the theory of nasakh. So I personally reject the nasakh theory in the ulum al-Quran. What I mean by here, nasakh, the nasakh, what I mean here is that some verses were already abrogated by other verses. Yeah. So I don't believe in this in this subject, and I on the I follow the idea that every verse has its own context. So there is no abrogated verses, but every verse has its own meaning, its own context. Somebody can apply this verse in a certain context, and and these verse sometimes cannot be applied in another situation. So meaning that every verse actually has its own function, own function. So this is the paradigm of this approach, and principle of the interpretation of this approach is, first of all, we have to interpret the Quran through knowledge, meaning of course we we cannot depend only on the translation of the Quran, for example. Yeah, no, but we in interpreting the Quran, we have to use knowledge from the past and the present. So why I state this statement in this case, because we remember the sayings of the Prophet Muhammad, "Man qala bil Qur'ani bi ghairi ilmin falyatabawwa maq'adahu minan nar." Therefore, we have to interpret according to ilm, knowledge, sciences, and so on and so forth. So the second one, we try to combine between the classical interpretative method and contemporary ones. I said before, yeah. Yes, the combination between the knowledge in the past and in the present. And the third one is as I said before, we should interpret the Quran in order to create the goodness of human beings and universe. Sorry, there is typo. Okay, good, no problem. Good. This is the method or methodical strategies, and as I said before, and that this approach is try to grasp, to find three aspects. The first one is al-ma'na al-tarihi, and the second one al-maghza al-tarihi. Yeah, in order to search for this al-ma'na al-tarihi and al-maghza al-tarihi, first of all, we have to use, we have to analyze linguistic aspect of the Quran, yes. And in this case, we have to be aware that the Quran was revealed in the 7th century, and or in the time of the Prophet Muhammad. So why this is important? Because in every language there are changes there, or diachrony in terms of its meanings and structure. So we have to, in this case, then we have to pay attention to the language, Arabic language, at the time of the Prophet Muhammad. And Shatibi in Al-Muwafaqat fi Usul al-Fiqh says that if someone cannot understands the Quran without mastering the language of the Arab people at the time, at the time of the revelation of the Quran. So, and in this case, also I remember the theory of Schleiermacher, the grammatical hermeneutics, and one of the the principles of grammatical hermeneutics is that we have to pay attention to the language of the language that recognized that noun by the author of a text, or its historical audience. So, for example, just in for clarification, when we look at the term ikhlas, for example, ikhlas, al-ikhlas, when Muslims are asked about this term is ikhlas, for example, they will answer that ikhlas is that we worship God, or we do good things only in order to get ibtigha'an li maradatillah, right? So to get let's say the reward from God. But this definition of ikhlas, is I think we cannot find this definition in the Quran. Yes, the concepts are already there in the Quran, but the usage of the word ikhlas or its derivatives are not found in the Quran. So in all, let's say, for example, the first وَمَا أَعُوذُ بِاللَّهِ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ الرَّجِيمِ وَمَا أُمِرُوا إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ مُخْلِصِينَ لَهُ الدِّينَ حُنَفَاءَ مُخْلِصِينَ لَهُ الدِّينَ. وَمَا أُمِرُوا, they are not ordered only for praying God. مُخْلِصِينَ لَهُ الدِّينَ. مُخْلِصِينَ لَهُ الدِّينَ. Normally in Bahasa Indonesia translated dengan ikhlas. Dengan ikhlas meaning that somebody worship God only for getting reward from God. This is, I think this translation in Bahasa Indonesia secara ikhlas atau dengan ikhlas is not proper. I mean, not, not in accordance with the meaning of the ikhlas at the time of the Prophet Muhammad. So the meaning the prophet, the meaning of the word, yeah, at the time of the revelation is actually something like a tawheed. Wahada yuwahidu tawheed. Therefore, we have the name of the surah, yeah, Surah Al-Ikhlas, in which the verses talk about monotheism, yeah, monotheism. Qul huwa Allahu ahad, Allahu samad, lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. So every verse, yeah, every verse in this surah is related to the monotheism. So it is just example. So in relation to the meaning and also structure of the Arabic language of the Quran should be paid attention in accordance to what was meant at the time of the Prophet Muhammad. The second one, intratextuality. What I mean by intratextuality is that when somebody interprets the Quran, then we have to we have to compare this verse with other verses in the Quran, especially in the usage of the word, usage of the word. Certain words, in Quranic verses. It is very, this method is very familiar in, Islamic literature from the past until now. The statement that is common by us, among Muslim society, among Muslim scholars, is Al-Qur'anu yufassiru ba'duhu ba'dan. Right. So this is and the third one. The third one, what I call intertextuality, is that we try to compare the usage of a certain verse with in the Quran with other its usage in other texts. Either for example, it's a poetry or probably text from Jewish and Christian traditions and so on and so forth. So even though it is very very difficult for us, especially in relation to the comparison between the wordings, certain wordings in the Quran and what we have, for example, in the biblical text. So in this case, we have to master other languages in addition to Arabic. Yeah, we have to learn, for example, Syriac. We have to learn Hebrew and so on and so forth. So it's very difficult for Muslim scholars. But I think what I mean here is that we have to. Especially for young Muslim scholars, you have to learn also Hebrew and Syriac language. So because some texts that are available in the Bible were responded to by the Quran at the time. So yes, the fourth one after that, and we have to see also historical context, and micro and the broad one, and specific historical context of the verses. So asbabun nuzul is very important here still, and I would like to say that the historical context, a broad and also specific one, should be decisive. What I mean by decisive here, I mean, when we look at the asbabun nuzul, we have to also search for its meaning for understanding the Quranic verses. So this is what I mean. It's very important, very significant in order to grasp, of course, al-ma'na al-tarihi, and the second one, al-maghza al-tarihi, or in Fazlur Rahman's word is ratio legis, in relation to legal verses, of course, but yeah, al-maghza. Why I use the word al-maghza is in order to show you that the Quranic verse is not a legal, only legal verses, but also there are many other kinds of Quranic verses. So. And the last one, we try to search for a maqasid, maqsad, or the main message of the Quran at the time of the Prophet Muhammad. So I believe that the Quran has two meaning. Yeah, I mean the literal meaning and authorial intention. So both should be searched for. Yeah, so not only the literal meaning, but also the maqasid. Maqasid, not only in relation to legal verses, but other other kind of verses. And yes, do I have still time, Johanna, to finish my? Yeah. Okay.
Like 10
You're
minutes.
right. Okay, good. So after that, then after grasping or searching for the al-ma'na al-tarihi and al-maghza al-tarihi, then we have to move on to dynamic contemporary significance. So al-maghza al-mutaharrik al-mu'asir. So in this case, first of all, we should pay attention to the category of verses. Yeah. Whether certain verses muhkam or muhkamah or mutashabihah, or mufassal and mujmal, and so on. As well, we have this kind of verses in using the classical literature, Islamic literature. And also, in this case, also I agree with in relation to legal verses, I agree with Abdullah Sa'id's approach or theory of hierarchy, hierarchy of legal verses. There are 5 hierarchy in according to Abdullah Sa'id. Yeah. So the first one, the obligatory values. I mean, the verses have certain values. And the values have their hierarchy and their own their hierarchy. The first one is the obligatory values. The second is fundamental values and protectional values, implementational values, and instructional values. There is this. You can see the definition on description of these values in Abdullah Sa'id's work, interpreting the Quran. And this work, I think, the Abdullah Sa'id interpreting the Quran was already translated by Lien, Iffah. Yeah, Lien Iffah already translated this work in Bahasa Indonesia. So and then after that we develop maqasid. Sorry, this is the mistakes is here. Yeah, sad is maghza. We have to develop after grasping the al-maghza al-tarihi, or original significance at the time of the Prophet Muhammad. Then we have to redefine the maqasid in accordance with modern or contemporary way of thinking. Why this is important? Because, for example, in let's say the maghza, or the main message of a certain verse is justice, for example, justice. So then the word justice, the term justice, should be developed, should be reinterpreted in accordance with contemporary needs. So And also, yeah, there are many Malsa, of course, there are many Makasi, but our, our task, our job right now is to reinterpret the Al-Malsa al-Tarikhi for the contemporary period. Yeah, so and the also very important for us, like searching for al-ma'na al-ishari. Sorry, al-ma'na al-ishari in English is with H. Yeah, al-ma'na, symbolic meaning. Yeah, and I agree with al-Imam al-Ghazali when talked in his works about al-ma'na al-batin in the broader, in sorry in his, sorry this is the wrong one, broader, yeah, in the broader sense, meaning that al-ma'na al-batin can include mystical one, philosophical one, maqasid and legal verses, and modern and contemporary values. In order, modern, what I mean, modern and contemporary values here, that we try to develop the theory, Al-Ghazali's theory, when we talk about al-ma'na al-batin. So the broader sense, this word has its broader sense. And the last one, we try to develop some, our interpretation using this approach by, use interdisciplinary approach if needed. For example, when the verse is probably is related to psychology, then we have to look at the psychological theories. And when the verse is, probably is related to a scientific one, then we have to search, we have to see a theory that is theories that are related to the verses, and so on and so forth. So this is the what I propose in this. It is, yeah, I would like to, Johanna, I am very happy, to be criticized, and also to, yeah, in order to develop this kind of methodology. And the last one, we would like to, to inform you that this kind of approach, I already implemented, or applied by myself. For example, in interpreting Al-Hajj verses 39, 40, and Namal 29 to 35, and Nisa 34, As-Safat, 100, 103, Al-Ma'idah, Al-Ma'idah in relation to Awliya, ayyuhalladhina amanu la tattakhidhul yahuda wan nasara awliya. I have already read the article written by Johanna Pink in relation to this Al-Ma'idah 41. Yes, good. Yeah, thank you very much, everybody. And this is what I have right now, and I hope that you can, discuss about my approaches. Thank you very much. Okay, bye.
Thank you so much, Pak Sahiron. I will end the recording now, and then we can start with the questions. Thank you.